Tips with Toni. Tips with Toni. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Toni. Tips with Toni. Making you healthier one bite at a time. Tip with Toni. Woo.
Hello, and welcome to the Tips with Toni podcast. I'm Toni Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. This next interview is actually with a client of mine who I adore, and so many people ask me about my program and what's entailed, and like I said, I promise I'm going to do a podcast episode about my program in greater detail, but I find that the best way to learn about a program and how it can benefit you is from listening to others. So I really wanted to take this time to have you guys be able to hear an experience of one of my personal clients. So without further ado, here is the interview with Fran Davies.
Hi, Fran. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for, sharing your story and your progress with everyone. I'm super excited to get started and ask you all these great questions.
That's okay.
So I wanted to first let everybody know that, so Fran, you were the winner of the walking challenge.
Yes.
Private Facebook group, right? Do you remember how many steps a day did you average? I have it written down.
I think I was trying to get close to like 20,000 a day.
You were definitely way over. You were over 20,000 on average for sure. I remember that. And before we get into the questions, how did you do that?
So I basically started walking to and from work, where I was normally getting public transport, like a bus or the tube. Mm-hmm. And if I hadn't done as much walking during the day, at the weekends, I would go out in the evening and like walk around the park, just watch my Fitbit and wait for the steps to count up.
It's so great. Like that intention of walking to and from work, I think definitely helped. But also we had a Google document so you could see everyone. Did you know that you were in the lead most days? Like, did you intentionally try to beat the person who was first? Or were you just like, I just want to see as many steps as I can possibly get?
No, I'm quite competitive. So as soon as I saw that I was doing quite well, I was like, I could maybe win this. And then because of the time difference, I would often update my steps like earlier in the day than the other like person who came in second, because they were in America. So I was like checking like later in the afternoon to see what their steps were.
I love that.
Am I beating them?
Oh, wow. Yeah, so you did have a slight advantage. Kind of, right? Yeah, you definitely did. That's so great. Well, I'm so grateful that you did win, because so the winner of the walking challenge got a free month of coaching with me, and Fran, we did that together, and then you actually decided to continue working with me after, and it's been an absolute pleasure. So I wanted to kind of just ask you some questions that I feel like a lot of people are probably thinking maybe, I actually had somebody, every time someone enters the Facebook group, I have them ask, like, what's your biggest obstacle standing in your way? And someone just answered that they just don't feel like they don't have the belief in themselves that they can do it. And I feel like because of the way society is portrays dieting and exercise and weight loss and all of that, it does feel a little bit like hopeless, like unfortunately. So it's important to surround yourself with the right people and to listen to someone who's gone through the process to know that you can do it. So once again, thank you so much. All right, so let's jump into it. So question number 1, what was the main obstacle or challenge you were looking to solve before choosing to continue to work with me?
So I basically wanted to regain some of my focus on the nutrition side, because I'd been working mainly on like going to the gym and being more active. But yeah, I think that getting a bit more guidance on like the macro split and just some more like healthy eating tips was like the reason behind trying to win the challenge.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because you've lost weight on your own, right?
Yeah. So I lost weight for my wedding. So for 2 years, I lost about 45 kilograms ish. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I did a lot on my own, but then there's still always progress that you can make, I think.
Yeah, I think that's totally great. Like, you definitely had a lot of healthy eating habits established, and I kind of just came in and gave you some pointers to improve your nutrition a little bit so you continue to see that weight go down like you were looking for. So that's really great. So kind of going off of that a little bit, although you were successful on your own, there were still some parts that weren't working on your own. So tell me more about what wasn't working on your own.
I think it was because the time sensitive pressure of losing weight for the wedding had gone. I'd kind of lost my way a little bit in terms of not really being as focused on the weight loss, because I was never going to go back to where I started from, but there was just not as much focus in having to be slimmer for the wedding. Yeah, so I just kind of wanted to a little bit more support, one-on-one, I think, to just regain my focus and get back into the swing of things.
Totally. Yeah, and to remind yourself why you're doing this in the first place. So although you had the motivating factor, the reason why wasn't just because of the wedding, right? We know that it's a lot deeper than that, but that was definitely a huge motivator. But I think, sometimes having that accountability and, we have the weekly check-ins, I have, with the form that you have to fill out, is basically asking you why you're doing this, what's your goal. It keeps it top of mind for you. And like you said, you kind of lost a little bit of that motivation. I think that investing in yourself, investing in a program, it brings that right back up. It's starting to be this matters to me.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So what did we implement that was different before, and when did you realize that?
So we kind of started to look more at all of the nutritional values of food, rather than it just being all about calories. Because there's I kind of had a bit of food fear of certain foods which were high in calories that I thought they couldn't really fit into my diet, but that are still good for you, like peanut butter and avocado and stuff. So helping to break away from the food fear was definitely one that we worked on. And then also working on the overall macro split that I was looking at. And I think I was previously working more on my protein targets and forgetting about the sort of carbs and the fats. But actually, when I started focusing more on the carbs and making sure that they were at the right level, I found I had much more energy, and I was craving less sweet things in the evenings. So it definitely had a really big impact there.
Yeah, definitely. I love that so much. I kind of want to bottle it up and put it make it another slogan or something. Hold on a minute. Can we slow down? You focus on adding carbohydrates and healthy fats with calories, and you've been losing weight. What? Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that was fabulous. We can end it. That was great. That's definitely that was great, and that worked for you. I think that's always the biggest point for people is individualized care. But so what was the outcome that we achieved together that you're the most proud of?
I think definitely how I perceived certain foods. So stepping away from being scared of eating certain things. And even if the peanut butter and avocado example, they were always in a list of these are the foods that you often eat too much of, and it kind of puts a real fear into you actually having any of it. But actually, if you do measure it out and you know exactly what you're eating, then you can still enjoy them, and they're nice and tasty. So
yeah, they're tasty and they're filling, they're nutritious, and like you said, it helps you actually cut back on cravings of the sweets you were having throughout the day. So yeah, that's so good, right? So we've incorporated more food.
Yeah,
so you don't feel less guilty after eating it.
Yes.
Awesome. Now, I think the biggest question I always ask people, especially when they're interested in my program, there's always skepticism, right? We live in a society where if you worked with the wrong nutrition coach, you could have had a really terrible experience, or you may have bought a shake and it didn't work. And so now you're like, oh no, nutrition doesn't work for me. Right. So I'm curious for you. It's actually interesting because the reason why we started working together was because you won a challenge, right? It wasn't like you were searching for my services or anything like that. So I'm wondering, like, were you skeptical at first for deciding to do this program?
I actually wasn't, because I've put like money into using personal trainers in the past, like when I was losing the weight for the wedding. So I know, like, putting the money where your mouth is and investing in yourself is like, it's never a bad investment, and you're going to get that one-to-one tuition and like focus. And also I knew that because I'd been following you for a while and I'd been part of your Facebook group, that I think is like my part of health and fitness journey as a whole. I've come to really understand like who is giving out good advice and who is like not necessarily giving out good advice. So I definitely knew that I could trust what you were saying because of all the like other people that I've been following on Instagram and like the general sort of trends that people are saying. So I definitely knew that I would appreciate the one-to-one personal support. Awesome.
Well, thank you. You've been like a blessing to work with. I love you. So what would you say to someone who's interested in joining my program?
So I'd say that even if you are not right at the start of your health and fitness journey and like no idea how to even start eating healthy, even if you've made progress on your own, it's still like a beneficial like program to be part of, because there's always room for improvement. And I'd like obviously lost a lot of weight on my own, but there were definitely still improvements that I've made since doing your program that have been really beneficial. So like it's not just for people who have no idea about nutrition and don't know what to eat. It's like for other people who have some kind of idea about what they're doing, but there's always areas that you can improve on. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Fran. Is there anything else that you want to say or share or comment about before we kind of wrap up?
Not that I can think of, no.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And I will see you next week and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Yeah, thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, I hope what you got out of that is that if she can do it, you can do it too. My program really is for anybody that wants sustainable change. It doesn't matter where you started. It always is about how you finish. And if you're open to guidance and suggestions and you like the high level of accountability, then my program is most likely for you. I do have an extensive application process. So what you want to do now is go to www.tipswithtoni.com/coaching, fill out an application. I'll review it. And if I feel like your answers are something that, you would benefit from joining my program and we would work well together, I will invite you to an official phone call. I'll send you a video. We'll schedule a call to talk a little bit more about your goals, explain more about my program, and at the end of the call, if I feel like you're a good fit, I will offer you a spot. So that's how it works. If you're looking to work with me, go to www.tipswithtoni.com/coaching. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Tip with Toni, tip with Toni, tip with Toni.